Hello and a very good morning to everyone present here. This is Manan Shah, and today I'll be speaking on the topic G20 and the youth. So, let us rewind the clock. It's the year 1947, and the date is 15th August. The Prime Minister has just hoisted the national flag on the Red Fort, and India has declared itself as an independent nation. Fast forward 75 years later, today we stand at a position wherein we hold the presidency of one of the most prominent group of nations all around the world. That is G20. For starters, this presidency might not seem such a big thing as it is a rotating presidency and one after the year India would have gotten it. But to put that in some perspective, for me, it is a huge move ahead. It is a huge stride ahead in terms of progress. And why? Because India today stands at a position wherein it can command globally. It can enact decisions. It can start conversations that can make decisions which can affect people globally all around the world. To put that factually, G20 today stands at a point wherein it represents more than 70% of the trade. But to refine that facts more, speaking from the developing countries that are in the G20, the average income of a developing nation is less than 70% of what the developed countries in the G20 are. The literacy rates stand at meager 40%. The employment rate for the youth in the underdeveloped G20 countries stand at 28%, and the desired development rate at a meager less 14%. So today, as I stand here, I give out two superpowers that India as a country possess, that the youth of the India possess, that can link India to the G20 and help it to emerge as a superpower in the future. The first one is imparting knowledge on the geopolitics. Unfortunately, due to the inefficiency of the global and Indian education system, today we are not provided enough knowledge about how the global politics, geopolitics works. G20 is an important era, is an important summit wherein the youth can get a closer exposure of how events of this stature happen, how negotiations, how geopolitics happen, so that we know how we have to shape up as citizens of the future, as leaders of the future and lead the country ahead. We, the youth of India, we today India possess a huge demographic dividend, which is unparalleled and unmatched in the world. We possess a youth working force that can be leveraged. But that youth working force, if does not possess the knowledge of geopolitics, can be a huge, huge liability for all of us. So this summit can provide an important platform for all of us to explore that side of us. The second one being redefining India's position in the global map. For long, India has been perceived as an underdeveloped country, which languishes behind in terms of trade and technology. But we have made far strides and progress. This is the perfect stage for all of us, for Indians, to showcase the technological, the economical, the medical advancements that we have made in the last 75 years. India has progressed tremendously, but the world time and again has neglected us. This is the time to showcase us. And it has been reflected in the history as well. India has emerged as the third largest startup ecosystem all around the world. Despite a global funding winter, India witnessed 80% rise in the funding startups. And a fun fact, majority of the startups are run by the youth. So this is an important platform for the youth, wherein we can attract funding, wherein we can showcase what capabilities, what technological advancements we as the youth of India have. A great example of the same was witnessed at the Sherpa meeting, the first Sherpa meeting, wherein the welcome ceremony itself showcased the technological, economical, and the advancements that India had made. We, India, as a country, possess tremendous powers, but that has to be effectively put out for the world to see. Lastly, I would like to put that everything is not gloomy as I speak. India, too, possesses its own set of challenges. The youth of India also has their own challenges, but I believe that I belong to an India which, despite faces challenges every day, has the willpower to overcome each one of them. I believe that I belong to an India that may not have the infrastructure to support this kind of growth, but surely has the willpower and determination to do whatever it takes. I believe that I belong to an India which may be considered as an underdog today. But let me remind you all, the last time someone called us that, we bought the 1983 World Cup home. Today, India is regarded as the voice of Southeast Asia and the developing nations. So it is our responsibility, it is our moral obligation to represent them, to put their issues, to put our issues on the global front. This reminds me of a Sanskrit poem that my mom taught in my childhood days. Karmanyavadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. We should carry out our duties irrespective of the fruits that we get. India today has that responsibility to do whatever it takes to put our issues, to put the issues of the developing countries for the betterment of the future. Lastly, I would like to say that G20 की होगी हमारी अध्यक्षता, युवाओं के कंधों पर सवार होगी नई सफलता. पुराना अध्याय अब हो चुका है समाप्त, पुराना अध्याय अब हो चुका है समाप्त. नई चुनौतियां बहुत सी नहीं होगी प्राप्त. तो आओ ऊर्जा और संकल्प के साथ एक नया संकल्प लेना है. तो आओ ऊर्जा और उम्मीद के साथ एक नया संकल्प लेना है. भारत को विश्व के सामने विश्व गुरु बनाना है. भारत को विश्व के सामने विश्व गुरु बनाना है. That's all from my side. Thank you so much.